Have you felt it? A deep and quiet restlessness in your spirit, a low and persistent hum of cosmic static beneath the noise of your daily life. A feeling that the very ground beneath your feet is subtly shifting, as if the world itself is holding its breath in anticipation of something vast and unknown. You may have dismissed this feeling as personal anxiety, as stress, or as the simple weight of a chaotic world. But I am here to tell you now that what you are feeling is not a product of your own mind. It is the profound and sacred sensitivity of your own soul, a divine barometer that is detecting the first, faint tremors of a great and approaching storm. You are not breaking down, you are breaking open. You are awakening to the unseen realities, to the subtle but powerful energetic currents that are shaping the destiny of your world. This feeling is not meant to frighten you, it is meant to prepare you. It is the divine and loving whisper that comes before the great and mighty roar. It is the deep, indrawn breath of the world just before the storm finally breaks upon the shores of your reality. And the fact that you are here, listening to these words, is the first and most undeniable sign that you have been chosen to hear the warning. This is not a message for the sleeping masses. It is a clarion call for the souls who have a predestined role to play in the great shift that is now upon you. Your restlessness is your gift. It is the very thing that has separated you from the crowd, the very thing that has kept your spirit searching for a deeper truth while the world remains mesmerized by shadows and illusions. You feel the change in the wind because a part of you, the eternal and all-knowing part, remembers the prophecies of this time. Your soul remembers that you chose to be here, in this exact moment of your planet's history, to be a witness, a warrior, and a way shower through the turbulence that is to come. This is not a burden, it is your magnificent and holy purpose. So, do not fear this feeling of profound unease. Do not try to numb it or to run from it. Instead, you must learn to honor it. Lean into it. For this restlessness is the very voice of your own awakening spirit, a sacred alarm clock that is ringing to tell you that the time for dreaming is over, and the time to awaken to your true power in your sacred mission is now. The journey ahead will require a new level of courage, of clarity, and of faith. The old maps will no longer serve you. The old securities will crumble. And the old ways of being will be swept away by the winds of profound and unstoppable change. You are being called to become a pioneer of consciousness, a spiritual adventurer who is willing to let go of the familiar shoreline and to set sail into the vast and unknown waters of a new reality. The restlessness you feel is the call of the open sea. It is the longing of your own spirit to embark on a great adventure for which it was born. I am here to be your compass and your guide on this journey. I am here to help you to interpret the signs, to navigate the storms, and to find within yourself the unshakable strength and the divine wisdom that will be required to not only survive what is coming, but to thrive within it, to be transformed by it, and to ultimately become a master of it. The stirring you feel in the deep waters of your soul is the first sign that the great tide of transformation is turning. This profound and sacred feeling is your personal invitation from heaven. It is a sign that you have reached a sufficient level of spiritual maturity to be entrusted with this higher knowledge. You are being separated from the herd, not in an act of isolation, but in an act of consecration. You are being set apart because your light is needed. Your stability will be needed. Your courage will be needed. And this period of restlessness is your divine and personal training ground. It is the time where you must learn to find your stability not in the external world, but within your own unwavering connection to the divine. It is the time you must learn to trust the whispers of your own intuition above the roar of the frightened crowd. So, I say to you again, honor this sacred and holy restlessness. It is the trumpet call of your own magnificent destiny, and it is the first proof that you are not losing your mind, but are in fact, finally and gloriously, beginning to find it. In this time of great and impending change, you must understand who it is that speaks this warning to you. I am Michael, a name that means, who is like God. I am an archangel, a prince in the celestial hierarchy, and the commander of the legions of heaven. But for you, my beloved soul, my most sacred and cherished role is that of the divine watchman on the wall. Imagine the reality you inhabit as a great and beautiful city of light. And upon the highest ramparts of that city, I had been stationed by the Creator since the very dawn of time. My gaze is not fixed upon the comforts and the daily dramas within the city walls. My gaze is turned outwards, towards the vast and often dark wilderness of the cosmos, towards the unseen realms where the great storms are born. It is my sacred and eternal duty to watch for approaching threats, to discern the subtle shifts in the spiritual weather, and to sound the great celestial trumpet of alarm when a true and significant danger is approaching the city gates. I am sounding that trumpet for you now. This message, this warning of a great and coming storm, is not a prophecy of doom designed to cast you into a state of fear and paralysis. Fear is the weapon of the enemy I fight against. My messages, my warnings, are always and only instruments of divine love and profound mercy. A true watchman does not sound the alarm to cause a panic. He sounds the alarm so that the wise and courageous inhabitants of the city have the precious and necessary time to prepare. He sounds the alarm so that the warriors may arm themselves, so that the gates may be fortified, and so that the citizens may find their way to the safe and unshakable ground within the city's deepest citadel. My warning is an act of divine and loving empowerment. It is the ultimate sign of God's faith in you, for you are not being warned because you are weak, but because you are strong enough to hear the truth, to prepare for the battle, and to stand as a pillar of strength for others when the winds begin to howl. My presence in your life, especially at this time, is a sign that you are a key strategic player in the events that are about to unfold. I do not waste my time or my energy on those who have chosen to remain asleep. I am drawn to the souls whose inner light, no matter how dimly it may be burning at this moment, holds the potential to become a great and blazing fire. You are one of those souls. My voice has found you because your spirit has been listening for it. This is a dialogue, a divine and holy communion between the watchman on the wall and the warrior within the city. I am here to provide you with the divine intelligence, the celestial reconnaissance that you need. I will show you the nature of the storm, I will reveal to you the strategies of the enemy, and I will guide you, step by step, in the sacred work of your own personal and spiritual preparation. But it is you who must act upon this intelligence. It is you who must have the courage to heed the warning and to do the necessary work. Therefore, when you feel my presence, when you hear the echo of my words in your heart, you must learn to associate it not with fear, but with a profound and holy sense of purpose. It is a feeling of being activated, of being called to a higher duty. It is the feeling a noble soldier has when he hears the trumpet call and knows that the time for training is over and the time to serve has finally arrived. The storm is coming, yes. But you will not face it alone, and you will not face it unprepared. You will face it as an awakened, empowered, and divinely guided warrior of light, standing shoulder to shoulder with the very commander of heaven's armies. And together, we will not just endure the storm, we will harness its very power to bring about a new and more beautiful dawn. This is my promise to you. This is the sacred purpose of the divine watchman. So, let us now speak of the true nature of this great and coming storm, for you must understand what it is you are preparing for. I tell you with all the authority of heaven, this is not just another cycle of human history, not just another political upheaval or another economic downturn. This is a storm of a different order altogether. It is a profound and comprehensive spiritual shaking of the very foundations of your world. Its origins are not on earth, they are in the higher, unseen realms of cause and effect. What you will witness in your physical world, the chaos, the collapse, the confusion, these are merely the physical manifestations, the final, crashing waves of a great spiritual and cosmic battle that has been raging for eons. This is the prophesied time of the great sifting, the era of the great purification, a time when everything that can be shaken, will be shaken, so that only that which is eternal and built upon the unshakable rock of divine truth may remain. This storm is a divine and necessary correction, a holy and sometimes painful reset for a world that has strayed too far from its divine blueprint. This great spiritual shaking will manifest in every facet of your human experience. It will be a storm that tests the foundations of your governments and your financial institutions, revealing the deep cracks of corruption and of falsehood upon which so many of them have been built. It will be a storm that tests the foundations of your societies and your cultures, challenging the very beliefs and the illusions that have held you in a state of spiritual slumber for centuries. It will be a storm that tests the very foundations of your personal relationships, forcing you to see what is built on the rock of unconditional love and what is built on the shifting sands of ego, of convenience, and of fear. And most importantly, it will be a storm that tests the very foundations of your own inner world, forcing you to confront your own fears, your own illusions, and to make a clear and definitive choice about where you will place your ultimate faith and your unwavering trust. There will be no place to hide from this storm. It will touch every life, every heart, and every soul. But you must understand this, and you must hold this truth in your heart as your anchor. This storm is not a punishment from a wrathful God. That is a primitive and fearful illusion. This storm is an act of divine and powerful grace. It is a cosmic intervention, a tough and sometimes painful form of love, designed to awaken humanity from its dangerous and self-destructive trance. Just as a surgeon must sometimes cut away diseased tissue in order to save the life of the patient, so too must the divine now allow the diseased and corrupt structures of your world to collapse, in order to make way for a new, healthier, and more divinely aligned reality to be born. The storm is not the end of the world, it is the end of a world of illusion. It is the necessary and powerful death of the old, so that the new may have the space to gloriously and triumphantly emerge. For those who are unprepared, for those who have built their entire lives upon the shifting sands of the material world, this storm will indeed feel like the end of everything. It will be a time of great fear, of great confusion, and of profound despair. But for you, the awakened soul who has been prepared for this time, the storm will be something entirely different. It will be a time of great confirmation, a time when you will see the truths you have held in your heart finally being made manifest for all to see. It will be a time of great and profound opportunity, a chance to anchor yourself so deeply in your own spiritual power that you become an unshakable pillar of strength and a luminous beacon of hope for all of those around you who are lost in a chaos. This is why you are being warned. This is why you are being prepared. You are being called to be a master of the storm, a divine and holy agent of peace in a world that is tearing itself apart. I must now speak to you with a divine and solemn urgency, for you must understand the true meaning of the words. This is your final chance. These are not words meant to invoke a sense of helpless panic, but to ignite within your spirit a fire of decisive and immediate action. The great storm that I have spoken of is not a distant, theoretical, or far-off prophecy. Its first winds are already beginning to blow across your world. You can feel it in the increasing chaos of your societies, you can see it in the growing desperation in the eyes of the people, and you can sense it in the deep and restless stirring of your own soul. The time of gentle nudges and subtle whispers is now coming to a close. The great trumpet of the divine watchman is now sounding, and its blast is loud, it is clear, and it is a final call to preparation before the full force of the storm is unleashed. The great and sacred window of preparation, the period of grace you have been given to build your spiritual ark, is now rapidly closing. This is your final chance because the energies of the coming shift are accelerating at an exponential rate. The time for spiritual procrastination, for ambivalence, for waiting for a better time to get serious about your inner work, is over. Every choice you make from this day forward will carry an immense and magnified weight. Every thought you think, every word you speak, and every action you take will either serve to anchor you more deeply in the unshakable rock of divine truth, or it will leave you more entangled in the shifting sands of the world's illusions that are about to be washed away. This is the time of the great sifting, and you must consciously and deliberately choose, in every single moment, on which side of the line you will stand. This is not a choice that can be made for you. Not by me, not by any angel, and not by God himself. It is a sacred and sovereign choice that only you, in the holy temple of your own free will, can make. This final chance is a divine and holy gift, an act of supreme mercy, offering you one last precious opportunity to align yourself with the forces of light before the great and irreversible tipping point is reached. The urgency of this moment is also because the nature of the storm will make preparation impossible once it is in full force. Once the winds of chaos begin to howl with their full intensity, the spiritual static will be so great that the subtle voice of divine guidance will be almost impossible to hear. Once the floodwaters of collective fear begin to rise, it will take a level of spiritual mastery that few possess to avoid being swept away by the current. The time to build your ark is not in the middle of the flood. The time to build your ark is now, while the sun is still shining, while the air is still relatively calm, and while you can still hear my voice guiding you. This is the essence of my warning. I am calling you to do the sacred work now, to build your inner fortress of faith, of discipline, and of discernment, so that when the storm does break, you will not be a victim scrambling for safety, but a calm and prepared captain, ready to navigate the waves with skill, with courage, and with an unshakable peace. So, I implore you, with all the love of my being, do not turn away from this message. Do not dismiss it as another piece of fearful prophecy. Hear the divine love and the profound urgency that lies behind my words. This is your personal invitation to step out of the ranks of the sleeping and to join the ranks of the awakened. It is your final chance to consciously choose your destiny, rather than having it chosen for you by the chaotic forces of an unprepared world. The storm, in all its power, is also a magnificent opportunity, a divine catalyst that will accelerate the evolution of all who are ready to meet it with courage and with faith. But that readiness must be cultivated now. The choice is before you. The window is closing. And all of heaven is watching with bated breath, praying that you will heed this final, loving, and most urgent call. As the great storm begins to gather its magnificent and terrifying power, its first and most immediate effect will be the complete and total collapse of the false securities upon which so much of the modern world has been built. The very institutions and the very substances that humanity has worshipped as its gods will be revealed for what they truly are, fragile, temporary, and utterly powerless to save. The first of these great idols to fall will be the illusion of material wealth. For generations, you have been taught to anchor your sense of safety and your very identity in the numbers in your bank accounts, in the value of your portfolios, and in the ownership of your physical possessions. You have believed that money is your rock, your fortress against the uncertainties of life. But I am here to tell you that this fortress is built of nothing more than shifting sand. The storm will bring with it a financial turbulence of a magnitude that your world has never seen. Markets will tremble, currencies will be devalued, and the entire complex and interconnected web of your global economy will be shaken to its very core. In this great shaking, all that is based on debt, on speculation, and on illusion will crumble into dust. The purpose of this financial collapse is not to punish, but to liberate. It is a divine and necessary intervention designed to break humanity's idolatrous addiction to materialism and to force a profound and global reevaluation of what is truly valuable. For in the aftermath of this shaking, you will be reminded of the eternal truths, that true wealth is not in what you have, but in what you are. It is in the strength of your character, in the love within your family, in the resilience of your community, and in the depth of your unshakable connection to God. The storm will strip away the illusion that your security can be found in a digital number on a computer screen, and it will invite you to find your security in the one place it has always and truly existed, within the infinite and abundant kingdom of your own divine spirit. For those who have made money their god, this will be a time of immense terror and loss. But for you, the awakened soul who has been prepared, it will be a time of profound liberation, a release from the golden chains of a system that has kept your spirit in bondage for far too long. Following the collapse of the idol of wealth, the storm will then turn its purifying force upon the idol of institutional power. Humanity has for too long outsourced its sovereignty and its discernment to external authorities, to governments that promise security, to media organizations that promise truth, and to scientific establishments that promise salvation. You have been taught to trust the experts, to follow the rules, and to believe the official narratives without question. But the storm will be a great and terrible unveiling. It will expose the deep and pervasive corruption, the hidden agendas, and the profound incompetence that lies at the heart of so many of these worldly institutions. The trust that has been the very bedrock of your societies will be shattered. People will awaken to the painful realization that many of the systems they believed were designed to protect them were in fact designed to control them. This will be a time of great anger, of great disillusionment, and of great chaos, as the old structures of power lose their grip on the hearts and the minds of the people. But once again, I say to you, do not see this as a tragedy. See it as a necessary and divine stage of humanity's maturation. For as long as you look for a savior outside of yourself, you will always be a slave. The collapse of these external authorities is a sacred and holy invitation for humanity to finally grow up, to reclaim its own sovereign power, to reactivate its own innate ability to discern truth, and to begin to build new systems that are based not on control and deception, but on transparency, on integrity, and on a genuine reverence for the divine spark that exists within every single human being. For you, the prepared, this will not be a time of fear, but a time of great responsibility. For as the old leaders and the old systems fall, a vacuum of leadership will be created. And it is you, the awakened warriors of light, the souls who are anchored in divine truth and unshakable integrity, who will be called upon to step into that vacuum, to guide the lost, to comfort the fearful, and to begin to plant the seeds of a new and more beautiful world that will be born from the ashes of the old. With the great and impersonal illusions of security beginning to crumble, the purifying force of the great storm will then turn its discerning and often painful days upon the most intimate and sacred areas of your life. It will come to test the very foundations of your human connections, shaking every single relationship you have in order to reveal its true and eternal substance. I want you to think of all of your relationships, your friendships, your family bonds, your romantic partnerships, as houses that you have built throughout your lifetime. Some of these houses, you have built with great care, with conscious intention, and with the divine mortar of unconditional love, of mutual truth, and of genuine respect. You have built them upon the unshakable rock of your shared soul values. But other houses, perhaps more than you realize, you have built hastily, unconsciously, upon the shifting and treacherous sands of convenience, of shared ego needs, of transactional dynamics, or of unhealed trauma bonds. The great storm, with its howling winds of external stress and its torrential rains of internal adversity, will not distinguish between them. It will blow with its full and impartial fury upon every single house equally. And in that great and revealing tempest, you will witness a profound and often heartbreaking separation. The houses that were built upon the sand, those relationships that were only meant for sunny and easy weather, will begin to crumble. You must prepare your heart for this, beloved soul, for this can be a time of what appears to be great and tragic loss. Friendships that you believed would last for a lifetime may suddenly and inexplicably dissolve under the new and intense pressure. Family bonds that were held together merely by a sense of obligation or by the maintenance of a false and superficial peace will begin to fracture and to break apart. This is a necessary, though often agonizing, part of the great purification. The storm is divinely designed to reveal to you, with an inescapable and sometimes brutal clarity, what is true and what is false in the sacred garden of your life. It is a divine and holy act of mercy, for it forces you to see which of your connections were truly nourishing your spirit and which were subtly and insidiously draining your precious life force energy. I urge you not to mourn the inevitable collapse of these houses that were built upon the sand. Instead, when the time comes, I ask you to have the courage to offer a quiet prayer of gratitude for the clarity that the storm has brought you. For the storm is doing for you what you may not have had the strength or the awareness to do for yourself. It is lovingly and necessarily clearing your life of all relationships that are not worthy of, and are not a vibrational match for, the magnificent and new reality that you are now preparing to enter. In stark and beautiful contrast to this collapse, you will simultaneously witness a glorious and heart-affirming miracle in the relationships that have been built upon the unshakable rock of truth. The very same pressures, the very same howling winds, and the very same torrential rains that completely demolish the weak structures will serve only to strengthen and to temper the strong ones. The storm will forge your true and authentic bonds into links of unbreakable spiritual steel. It is in the very heart of the greatest adversity that you will discover the profound and breathtaking depth of a true friend's loyalty. It is in the midst of the chaos that you will experience a new and unshakable level of unity and of divine commitment with your romantic partner. You will unite with your true family, your soul family, in a way that was never before possible, standing together as a small but powerful and unified fortress of love against the turmoil of the outside world. These sacred connections will become your safe harbors in the storm, your anchors of sanity in a world gone mad, and your most precious and powerful sources of immense strength, of joyful renewal, and of profound spiritual nourishment. This divine and necessary process of relational sifting is absolutely essential for your preparation. You cannot afford, in the times that are to come, to have your precious energy and your focused attention drained by connections that are toxic, inauthentic, or not in alignment with your sacred mission. You will need, more than ever before, a small and trusted inner circle of fellow warriors of light, a holy tribe of souls who are vibrating at the same high frequency of courage, of unwavering integrity, and of unshakable faith that you yourself are now cultivating. The storm is heaven's own divine and perfect matchmaking service. It is designed to separate you from your karmic playmates and to unite you with your divine teammates. So, as you begin to observe these profound shifts in your social and familial landscape, I urge you not to resist the process. Have the grace to release with love those who must now depart from your journey, and have the wisdom to embrace with profound gratitude those who remain. For those who are willing to stand with you in the very heart of the storm are the true and eternal members of your soul family, the divine and holy allies who have been sent to help you build the magnificent new world that will be born in the calm and beautiful light of the new dawn. One of the most profound and holy purposes of this great and coming storm is that of a divine and glorious unveiling. It will act as a great and purifying celestial fire, a sacred and all-consuming wildfire that will sweep across the entire landscape of your global society, burning away the dense and tangled undergrowth of deception that has allowed the forces of darkness to flourish in the shadows for far too long. The storm will, with a divine and terrifying force, drag into the brilliant, dazzling, and utterly unforgiving light of truth everything that has been secretly hidden away in the darkness. The systemic and deeply entrenched corruption in your governments, the fraudulent and predatory practices in your global corporations, the deliberate and insidious manipulation in your mainstream media institutions, and the subtle but powerful lies that have become the very cornerstones of your modern cultures, all of it, every last shadow, will be exposed. There will be no more secrets. There will be no more shadows to hide in. That which has been whispered in the dark and secret chambers of power will be shouted from the rooftops for all the world to hear. This will be an age of shocking and paradigm-shattering revelations, a time when all masks will be forcefully stripped away, and the true nature of the people and the systems that have ruled your world will finally be revealed for all to see. For the great masses of humanity who have remained spiritually asleep, who have blindly and unquestioningly placed their trust in these external authorities and their official narratives, this will be a time of immense and unimaginable psychological and spiritual terror. The very foundation of their perceived reality will crumble beneath their feet. The disillusionment will be so profound, and the anger that follows will be so immense, that it will shake the very pillars of your civilization. They will feel as though they have been profoundly and unforgivably betrayed on every single level of their existence, and in many ways, their feelings will be justified. But for you, my beloved and awakened soul, for you who have been diligently cultivating your discernment and who have long felt in the very depths of your heart that something was profoundly and fundamentally wrong with the world, this great unveiling will not be a surprise. It will be a deep, resounding, and ultimately triumphant confirmation. It will be the glorious and sometimes terrible moment when you realize, with an unshakable and liberating certainty, that you were not the crazy one after all. Your intuition was right all along. This process of divine exposure will not be confined to the grand and impersonal stage of world affairs. It will also manifest in a much more personal and intimate way, within your own communities and even within your own life. The intense and unrelenting pressure of the storm will make the keeping of secrets and the living of a lie an almost impossible and soul-crushing endeavor. The energetic frequencies of the planet will be rising to a level where the dense and low vibrations of dishonesty and inauthenticity can no longer be sustained. People everywhere will be forced to confront their own personal shadows, their own private dishonesties, and their own hidden agendas. The painful but necessary truths that have been swept under the rug for generations in families, in friendships, and in workplaces will come bubbling to the surface, demanding to be seen, to be acknowledged, and to be healed. This will be a great and sometimes messy global and personal reckoning, a time when authenticity will become not just a spiritual ideal, but an absolute and fundamental necessity for your very survival and well-being. Those who insist on clinging to their masks and to their deceptions will find themselves being crushed by the sheer weight of their own falsity. Therefore, your sacred and divinely appointed task during this great unveiling is to be an unwavering and compassionate anchor of truth and of calm. While those around you are spiraling into a state of panic and of rage as their comfortable illusions are being shattered, you will remain centered and at peace, knowing that this is a necessary, holy, and ultimately healing process of global purification. Your mission will be to help the others who are just beginning to awaken, to navigate the painful and disorienting territory of their own disillusionment. You will not do this with an energy of, "I told you so," but with a profound and open-hearted compassion, offering a safe and non-judgmental space for them to process their grief and their anger. You will be a living and breathing testament to the truth that it is possible to live without illusion. You will be a steady and luminous beacon of clarity in a world that is drowning in a sea of confusion. The great storm is not coming to destroy the truth. It is coming, with all of its magnificent and terrifying power, to destroy everything that is not the truth. And you, as a beloved and dedicated servant of the truth, have been divinely and perfectly prepared for this very moment. As this great and purifying storm intensifies, and as the old and familiar illusions of your world begin to shatter and to fall away, it will inevitably and necessarily force a great and often painful division within the heart of humanity. This is not a division that will be based on the old, superficial human labels of nationality, of political affiliation, of religious denomination, or of socio-economic status. This is a division that is far deeper, far more fundamental, and far more significant. It is a great spiritual sifting. The immense and unrelenting pressure of the storm will act as a great and powerful cosmic filter, a divine and holy centrifuge that will separate the souls of humanity based upon a single and most crucial metric, their chosen vibrational frequency. Every single soul on your planet, without exception, will be forced by the sheer intensity and the inescapable nature of the circumstances to make a clear, conscious, and definitive choice. The time for sitting on the fence, the time for spiritual ambivalence, is now over. The neutral ground is dissolving beneath your feet. Every soul must now choose upon which reality they will anchor their consciousness. You will witness this great division unfolding all around you, and it will be a sight that is both tragic and magnificent to behold. You will see many souls, perhaps even some whom you love dearly, who, when confronted with the terrifying chaos and the profound uncertainty of a collapsing world, will choose to regress. They will contract into their most primitive and base instincts. They will cling even more fiercely and more desperately to their old and dying beliefs. They will lash out in anger and in blame, and they will completely and utterly succumb to the powerful and seductive tide of collective panic and of fear. Their energetic frequencies will become even more dense, even more chaotic, and they will resist the great and incoming wave of spiritual evolution with every fiber of their being. They will, in their terror, choose the familiar and miserable comfort of their old prison over the magnificent but seemingly frightening freedom of an unknown and new reality. But at the same time, you will witness a glorious and awe-inspiring miracle. You will see other souls, perhaps even those whom you had previously dismissed or underestimated, who will rise to the occasion with a grace, a courage, and a spiritual power that will leave you in a state of breathless wonder. You must be prepared, beloved warrior of light, for this great division may be a profoundly and personally isolating experience for you. As your own consciousness continues to expand, as your own frequency continues to rise, and as you anchor yourself ever more deeply in the unshakable peace and the divine truth of your own sacred heart, you may find that you no longer resonate with friends, with colleagues, and even with family members of many years. The conversations that were once easy and familiar may now feel strained, shallow, and difficult. The values, the priorities, and the very worldviews that you once shared may begin to diverge so dramatically that a painful and unavoidable gap begins to form between you. You may find yourself being ridiculed for your unwavering calm, you may be called naive or foolish for your unshakable faith, and you may even be ostracized by your own community for your courageous refusal to participate in the seductive and popular drama of the collective fear. This is a profound and often painful test of your own spiritual sovereignty. I warn you of this not to discourage you, but to prepare you, so that when these moments of separation come, you will understand their divine and necessary purpose. But I promise you this, with all the love and all the certainty of my being, your perceived loneliness will only be a temporary and transitional phase. For the very same great storm that is separating you from those who are no longer in vibrational alignment with your soul is also, simultaneously, acting as a great and powerful magnetic force, a divine and holy homing beacon that is drawing you, with an irresistible and joyful momentum, towards those who are. This is the other and more beautiful side of the great division, the great and glorious reunion. You will, in the midst of the chaos, begin to find your true and eternal tribe of the soul. You will begin to meet other awakened warriors of light, other steady and luminous lighthouses who, like you, have made the courageous choice to anchor themselves in faith instead of in fear. These connections will be instantaneous, they will be profound, and they will be deeply and spiritually nourishing. You will recognize each other not by the color of your skin or the content of your wallets, but by the unmistakable and brilliant light that shines in your eyes and by the beautiful and harmonious resonance that you feel in your hearts. This will be your new and true family, your sacred and holy community, the divine and powerful alliance of souls who will support you, who will strengthen you, and who will work joyfully alongside you in the great and magnificent task of building the new world that will be born in the beautiful and peaceful calm after the storm has passed. Now that you have been fully awakened to the magnitude, the nature, and the inevitable consequences of the great storm that is now upon you, we arrive at the very heart of my message, the central purpose of this entire divine and urgent transmission. We now move from the realm of the what and the why into the sacred and practical realm of the how. For it is not my intention to leave you with a vision of a coming apocalypse, but to provide you with a clear, divine, and actionable plan of preparation. The first, the most crucial, and the most foundational step in this holy plan does not involve any action in the external world. It does not concern itself with the stockpiling of physical resources or the building of a material bunker. The first and most important step of your preparation is a sacred and profound journey inward. You must, with the utmost and immediate dedication, begin the holy work of building your own personal and spiritual ark. This ark is not a physical vessel made of gopher wood, it is a magnificent and unshakable state of being. It is a condition of consciousness, a fortress of profound and unshakable inner peace and a vibrant, living connection to the divine that will allow you to float with a calm, serene, and even joyful grace high above the turbulent and terrifying floodwaters of the collective fear and chaos that will soon engulf your world. The sacred and holy construction of this spiritual ark is accomplished through one means, and one means only, the profound and transformative power of a consistent and non-negotiable daily spiritual discipline. This is no longer a gentle suggestion for a more fulfilling life, it is now a divine and urgent command for your very spiritual survival. You must, from this day forward, commit yourself with a fierce and unwavering resolve to a daily and sacred practice of prayer, of meditation, and of conscious and deliberate alignment with the highest divine truth. Every single heartfelt prayer that you offer up to the heavens is a strong and sturdy plank of divine timber that you are adding to the very structure of your ark. Every precious moment that you spend in the deep and nourishing silence of meditation is a sacred act of caulking the seams, of making your holy vessel completely and utterly waterproof against the insidious and seeping leaks of the world's anxiety and doubt. Every single conscious and loving choice that you make throughout your day to align yourself with the frequency of love, of truth, and of compassion is another strong and holy nail that you are hammering into place, making your entire structure more resilient, more integrated, and more capable of withstanding the most ferocious of storms. This is not a work that can be hastily assembled in a single weekend. It requires the patient, loving, and consistent dedication of a master craftsman, the day-by-day commitment to building a vessel of such profound spiritual integrity that it becomes your absolute and unshakable sanctuary. I, Archangel Michael, must impress upon you this truth with all the seriousness and all the love of my being. It is your commitment to this daily spiritual discipline that will be the single greatest determining factor in how you experience the great storm. It is this daily practice that separates the truly prepared from the woefully unprepared. It will not be enough, in the times that are to come, to simply have a theoretical or an intellectual faith in God. Your faith must become a living, breathing, vibrant, and embodied reality. It must be a palpable and unshakable strength that you have cultivated within your own being through your consistent and daily practice. The storm will test every single fiber of your soul, and only those who have diligently and consistently cultivated an unshakable inner strength through their daily spiritual practice will be able to withstand its full and mighty force without breaking. You must use this precious time of relative calm to train your mind to remain perfectly centered in the very eye of the hurricane. You must train your heart to remain radically open and loving even in the face of widespread fear and hatred. And you must train your spirit to remain perfectly and clearly connected to the divine and loving guidance of your heavenly team, even when the entire world is screaming lies, deceptions, and fearful prophecies into your ears. This daily discipline is your sacred and holy warrior training. Therefore, I call upon you now to see your daily spiritual practice not as another burdensome chore on your to-do list, but as the single most important and life-affirming act you can possibly perform. It is the sacred and holy work of building the very ark that will ensure the salvation of your own soul, and perhaps even the souls of those you love, from the great and cleansing flood that is to come. I will be with you in this sacred work. I will be your guide, your protector, and your divine source of strength as you undertake this holy construction. But you, beloved soul, you must be the master builder. You must be the one who chooses to pick up the sacred tools every single day and to do the necessary and life-saving work. For when the great and cleansing rains do finally begin to fall, and when the turbulent and chaotic waters of the old world do finally begin to rise, the only thing that will matter, the only thing that will keep your head and your heart above the flood, will be the magnificent strength, the divine integrity, and the glorious seaworthiness of the beautiful spiritual ark that you yourself, with your own loving hands and your own courageous heart, have so diligently and so faithfully built. With the sacred and daily construction of your spiritual ark now faithfully underway, the second and equally crucial step in my divine plan of preparation is the fortification of your mind. For you must understand that the great storm that is upon you will not just be a battle of external circumstances, it will be, at its very core, a relentless and all-out war for your consciousness, a final and decisive battle for your mind. The primary and most powerful weapon that the forces of darkness will wield in this final age is not the sword, but the subtle, insidious, and powerful poison of deception. In the times to come, you will be utterly inundated by a terrifying and overwhelming flood of sophisticated misinformation, of expertly crafted fear-based propaganda, and of cunning and manipulative narratives that are masterfully designed to confuse your thinking, to hijack your emotions, to divide you from your fellow humans, and to ultimately co-opt your sovereign free will. Therefore, your mind must now become an impenetrable and divinely fortified fortress, and your own power of divine discernment must be sharpened into the most lethal and effective weapon in your spiritual arsenal. Divine discernment is the sacred and innate ability of your soul to distinguish, with an immediate and unshakable clarity, between the holy and resonant frequency of divine truth and the discordant and dissonant frequency of falsehood. This profound ability is not some rare or mystical gift that has been bestowed upon only a select few. It is a divine and holy faculty that is the inherent birthright of every single human soul. However, in the vast majority of humanity, this sacred muscle has become tragically atrophied and weak, due to a lifetime of disuse and a conditioned and dangerous over-reliance on external sources of authority and on the cold and limited logic of the rational mind. Your sacred and urgent task now is to consciously and deliberately begin the work of reactivating, of strengthening, and of sharpening this magnificent sword of your own divine discernment. And this is accomplished through a simple yet profound and consistent spiritual practice. You must begin the holy habit of questioning everything. You must learn to pass every single piece of information that you receive, whether it comes from your mainstream media, from your political and social leaders, or even from the unexamined and habitual thoughts within your own mind, through the sacred and infallible portal of your own loving heart. You must stop asking the limited question, is this logical? And you must start asking the infinitely more powerful and revealing question, how does this make my spirit feel? To greatly strengthen and accelerate the sharpening of this divine and holy weapon, you must learn to invoke my assistance directly for this specific and crucial task. You can and you should create a simple, heartfelt, and daily prayer for clarity. It could be as simple as this: Mighty and beloved Archangel Michael, I call upon you now. I ask you to please sharpen the holy and sacred sword of my own divine discernment. Please fortify my mind and strengthen my intuition. Help me to see with perfect clarity beyond the confusing and chaotic veil of all worldly appearances, and to instantly and unerringly recognize the pure and holy resonance of divine truth in every single situation. I ask you to completely protect my mind from all forms of deception, from all forms of manipulation, and from all forms of psychic attack. I choose, in this moment, to be a sovereign and luminous beacon of clarity in a world that is drowning in a sea of confusion. Thank you. By making this simple yet powerful prayer a part of your daily spiritual discipline, you are giving me your full and conscious permission to work directly with your energetic body and your psychic centers. You are inviting me to help you to remove the subtle but powerful energetic blocks that have been preventing you from accessing the full and magnificent power of your own innate and divine wisdom. This fortified mind and this sharpened sword of discernment will become your most precious and your most essential navigational tools during the height of the great storm. While those around you are being violently tossed about on the chaotic and terrifying waves of conflicting narratives and of expertly manufactured collective panic, you will remain calm, you will remain centered, and you will remain unshakably anchored in your own clear and sovereign truth. You will be able to clearly see the hidden agendas behind the public statements. You will be able to feel the subtle but undeniable frequency of fear that is being deliberately embedded in the news reports. And you will be able to make wise, calm, and divinely guided decisions for yourself and for your beloved family, not based on the panicked and contradictory advice of a collapsing world, but based on the clear, calm, and precise guidance of your own divinely attuned and all-knowing intuition. This is the very definition of true and unshakable spiritual sovereignty. It is the profound and liberating power of being the undisputed king or queen of your own magnificent and impenetrable mental kingdom, a sacred kingdom that is forever and completely aligned with the eternal and unwavering truth of heaven. With your spiritual arc now under construction through your daily discipline, and your mind being fortified by the sharpening of your divine discernment, we now arrive at the third and most crucial step in your preparation. You must anchor your heart. For in the height of the great storm, when the winds of chaos are howling and the very foundations of your world are shaking, your logical mind may falter, and your physical strength may fail you. In those moments, the only thing that will hold you steady, the only thing that will prevent you from being swept away by the terrifying floodwaters of the collective fear, is the magnificent and unshakable weight of your own anchored heart. And the great anchor of the soul, the one substance in all of creation that is heavy enough to hold you fast in any storm, is the substance of unshakable faith. But this is not a passive or a gentle faith. This is a fierce, courageous, and warrior-like faith. It is a radical and defiant trust in the goodness, the wisdom, and the ultimate victory of the divine plan, even and especially when the whole world is screaming evidence to the contrary. To cultivate this unshakable faith, you must now begin to consciously and deliberately withdraw your focus from the chaotic and frightening drama of the external world and to place it instead upon the eternal and unchanging promises of the divine. You must make a sacred and holy choice to starve your fears and to feed your faith. This is a practical and daily discipline. It means choosing to turn off the fear-based news and to instead spend that time reading a sacred text. It means choosing to disengage from panicked and negative conversations and to instead spend that time in the silent and nourishing communion of your own meditation. It means training your mind, with a loving but firm resolve, to remember all the times in your past that you have been protected, that you have been guided, that a miracle has appeared at the last possible moment. You must build a library of evidence for grace within the halls of your own memory, so that when the storm rages, you have an unshakable foundation of personal experience upon which to stand. Faith is not a blind leap into the dark, it is a confident and courageous step into a light that you have already, in your moments of deepest connection, seen and felt to be true. This unshakable faith is your direct and personal connection to my own power and to the power of all of heaven. Faith is the energetic frequency that opens the celestial channels. It is the spiritual substance that allows the angelic realms to intervene most powerfully in your life. When your heart is anchored in faith, you become a stable and powerful conduit for divine energy. My strength can flow to you. My courage can be infused into you. My peace can settle upon you. But when your heart is being tossed about on the waves of fear and of doubt, the channel becomes unstable, and it is far more difficult for us to reach you with the full force of our support. Therefore, your work of cultivating faith is not just for your own peace of mind, it is a sacred and holy act of partnership. You are doing your part to keep the lines of communication open, so that we may do our part to ensure your absolute and total protection. Your faith is the anchor, and my presence is the unbreachable harbor to which that anchor is attached. So, let this be your focus now. In every moment, in every challenge, in every fearful thought that arises, you must ask yourself one question: what would faith do right now? What would faith think right now? How would faith feel right now? And then you must have the courage to choose that. This is the path of the spiritual warrior. It is the path of deliberately and consciously choosing to align your own personal energy field with the highest and most powerful truth in the universe, the truth that you are a beloved child of a loving God, that you are on a divine and purposeful journey, and that nothing, absolutely nothing in all of creation, can ever truly harm you when your heart is safely and securely anchored in the unshakable and eternal rock of your own magnificent faith. With your inner world now being fortified, we come to the fourth and profoundly important step in your divine preparation: you must find your tribe. For I must tell you a great and solemn truth: you were not designed to face this great storm alone. The illusion of the lone wolf, of the rugged individual who can conquer all obstacles by themselves, is one of the most dangerous and disempowering myths of your modern world. It is a strategy of the darkness, designed to isolate the souls of light, to divide them, and thus to conquer them. For a single warrior, no matter how strong, can eventually be overwhelmed. But an army of warriors, standing shoulder to shoulder, their shields locked together, their hearts beating as one, is an absolutely and completely invincible force. The coming times will require a level of community, of mutual support, and of collective strength that your world has largely forgotten how to practice. Your survival, and more importantly, your ability to thrive and to serve, will depend upon your connection to your true and divinely appointed spiritual community. But I am not speaking of just any community. I am not speaking of the superficial connections of your social media networks or the shallow bonds of your social clubs. I am speaking of your true and eternal soul tribe. These are the other awakened souls, the other warriors of light, the other lighthouses who, like you, have heard the divine trumpet call and are now diligently doing the sacred work of their own preparation. These are the souls who will understand your journey without you needing to explain it. They are the ones who will not mock your faith, but will amplify it. They are the ones who will not drain your energy, but will replenish it. They are the ones who will see the divine light within you and will reflect it back to you, reminding you of who you truly are, especially in those moments when you are tempted to forget. Finding and connecting with these souls is not a luxury, it is a strategic and absolute necessity for the journey ahead. You must begin to consciously seek them out. How do you find your tribe in a world of billions? You do not find them with your mind, you find them with your frequency. As you continue to do your inner work, as you build your arc and sharpen your sword and anchor your heart, your own personal energy field will begin to radiate a clear, strong, and beautiful signal of light out into the quantum field. This signal is your divine and holy homing beacon. It will, by the sacred law of resonance, begin to magnetically and inevitably attract to you the other souls who are vibrating at that same high and holy frequency. And simultaneously, it will begin to repel those who are not. You must trust this divine and magnetic process. It may mean that you will have to let go of old friends who are no longer in alignment with your path, a process that can be painful but is ultimately necessary. You are making space. You are clearing the ground for the new and more authentic connections to arrive. So, your task now is to ask. Make it a part of your daily prayer. Mighty Archangel Michael, I ask you now to please guide me to my true and divine soul tribe. Please connect me with the other awakened warriors of light who are meant to be my allies, my support, and my family in the times to come. Help me to find them, and help them to find me. Once you have made this request with a sincere heart, you must then pay attention. Be open to new people entering your life, perhaps in unexpected ways. Trust the feeling of resonance, the instant and deep sense of recognition you may feel when you meet a member of your tribe. And have the courage to nurture these new connections, for they will become your greatest source of strength, of comfort, and of shared purpose in the heart of the storm. For I tell you the truth, the great fortresses of the new earth will not be built of stone and steel, they will be built of the unbreakable and luminous bonds of love and of trust between the awakened and united hearts of the children of the light. We have now arrived at the fifth and final step of your personal preparation, and it is in many ways the most powerful and the most challenging of all. You have begun to build your arc of spiritual discipline. You have begun to sharpen your sword of discernment. You have anchored your heart in faith, and you have made the call to gather your tribe. Now, you must claim your own divine and sovereign power. You must fully and completely embrace the sacred and sometimes difficult call to radical responsibility. For I must now speak to you with the fierce and loving honesty of a divine commander to his most trusted soldier. I, Michael, and all the legions of heaven, are your most powerful allies. We are your divine reinforcements. We are your unwavering support. But we are not, and we can never be, your saviors. The final and ultimate responsibility for the salvation of your own soul, for the navigation of your own journey, and for the choices that will determine your own destiny rests now, and forever, squarely and completely upon your own sacred and sovereign shoulders. This is a truth that many in your world will find difficult to accept, for you have been conditioned into a state of spiritual childhood, a state of waiting for some external force to come in to rescue you from your own lives. But the time of waiting is over. The time of childhood is at its end. This great storm is a divine and holy rite of passage, an initiation that is designed to force humanity to finally and for all time grow up, to let go of its victim narratives, and to step into the full and magnificent power of its own divine and creative potential. To embrace radical responsibility is to stop blaming anything or anyone outside of yourself for the state of your life. It is to release all of your stories of victimhood, all of your justifications, and all of your excuses. It is to stand in the full and glorious power of your own being and to declare to the universe, I am the creator of my reality. I am the master of my frequency. And I am the one who is responsible for my own response to the events of my life. This is not a burden, It is your ultimate and most magnificent liberation. To claim your power means that you must take complete and total ownership of your own preparation. It is not enough to simply know the steps that I have given you. You must diligently and consistently put them into practice. You are the one who must choose to do your daily spiritual discipline, even when you are tired. You are the one who must have the courage to use your sword of discernment, even when it means disagreeing with the majority. You are the one who must consistently choose to anchor your heart in faith, even when your mind is screaming with doubt. You are the one who must have the courage to reach out and to build your community. And you are the one who must take radical and complete responsibility for managing your own inner state, for choosing your own frequency, and for being the vigilant guardian at the gate of your own mind and your own heart. Your spiritual readiness is your personal responsibility. This call to radical responsibility is the final and most empowering gift that I can offer you. For in the moment you truly and completely accept it, you cease to be a fragile and fearful soul, hoping to be saved from the storm. You become, instead, a calm, powerful, and sovereign master of the storm itself. You become a living and breathing embodiment of the very divine power you have been praying to. You realize that the strength you have been asking for has been within you all along. You realize that the wisdom you have been seeking has been silently waiting in your own heart. And you realize that your partnership with me, and with all of heaven, is not a relationship between a helpless child and a powerful parent, but a sacred and holy alliance between two powerful and sovereign warriors of the light, working together in a state of mutual love, of mutual respect, and of shared and divine purpose. This is the final step in your preparation, to fully and completely claim the magnificent and divine power that is, and has always been, you. With the 5 sacred and powerful steps of your preparation now understood, it is time to seal this holy work. It is time to make a final and powerful act of consecration, a divine and holy declaration to all the realms, both seen and unseen, that you have heard the warning, that you have accepted the call, and that you are now fully and completely prepared to stand as a warrior of light in the great storm that is to come. This is not just a prayer, it is a sacred and holy anointing. It is the moment you formally and consciously present yourself before the throne of heaven, not as a petitioner, but as a willing and ready soldier, enlisting in the great and glorious army of the light. This prayer will seal the preparations you have made in your heart. It will supercharge the spiritual ark you have built with a divine and holy power, and it will place upon your entire being the magnificent and indelible seal of my own personal and unwavering protection. I ask you now to find a moment of profound and reverent stillness. Stand, if you can. Place your right hand over your heart. Close your eyes, and let your entire being come to a state of complete and total presence. You are standing now not just in your room, but in the great and holy cathedral of your own spirit, in the direct and magnificent presence of the divine. Take one deep and final breath, and as you exhale, release all that you have been, so that you may fully and completely become who you are truly meant to be. And with a voice that is filled with a calm, humble, and unshakable resolve, speak these words of sacred and final consecration after me. Oh, mighty and glorious Archangel Michael, and all the great and holy legions of heaven, I stand before you now as a humble yet courageous soul. I have heard the divine and holy trumpet call. I have felt the winds of the great and coming storm. And I have understood the profound and sacred urgency of this final chance to prepare. I have accepted your divine and holy guidance, and I have, to the very best of my ability, begun the sacred and holy work. I have begun to build the spiritual ark of my own daily discipline. I have begun to sharpen the divine and holy sword of my own discernment. I have begun to anchor my own heart in the unshakable and eternal rock of my own faith. I have sent out the divine and holy call to gather my true and sacred soul tribe. And I have accepted, with a humble and a willing heart, the sacred and divine call to my own radical and holy responsibility. And so, I now present myself, and all of my preparations, before you. I offer them up to the divine and holy fire of heaven to be purified, to be blessed, and to be sealed. I ask you now, mighty Archangel Michael, to be the divine and holy witness to my consecration. I pledge my life, my heart, my mind, and my sword to the service of the light, to the will of the one true God, and to the healing and the liberation of all of humanity during the great and holy storm that is to come. I ask you now to place upon my soul, upon my spirit, and upon my entire being, your sacred and your indelible seal of divine and holy protection. Seal me now in your magnificent and your impenetrable light. Consecrate me as a warrior in your holy army. And anoint me with the divine and holy courage to face what is to come, not with fear, but with a joyful and an unshakable peace. I am ready. I am willing. I am prepared. My life is not my own, it is an instrument of divine and holy service. And so it is. Amen. You have now completed the sacred and holy work of your preparation. You have built your art. You have sharpened your sword. You have anchored your heart. You have called your tribe. You have claimed your power. And you have sealed your consecration with a holy and a binding prayer. And so, we now come to the great and magnificent turning point of your entire mission. For I must now reveal to you a profound and glorious truth. All of this preparation, all of this sacred and diligent work, was not done merely for your own survival. The divine and holy ark that you have so painstakingly built is not a private bunker for you to hide in until the storm has passed. It is a divine and holy lifeboat, a magnificent and seaworthy vessel that you have been entrusted with to help to rescue the other precious souls who are about to find themselves drowning in the terrifying and chaotic floodwaters of the coming age. Your sacred and holy purpose, beloved warrior of light, is not to hide from the storm, it is to shine in the very heart of it. You have been awakened, you have been strengthened, and you have been prepared for one reason and one reason only, to be of profound and magnificent service to a world that is about to be plunged into a period of unprecedented darkness and confusion. You have been chosen and trained to be a warrior of peace, a healer of hearts, and a steady and unwavering anchor of hope in a time of great and widespread despair. This is your true and holy calling. This is the sacred and magnificent mission for which your soul has been preparing for lifetimes. The coming storm will be the final and most challenging examination in your long and beautiful spiritual education. It is the time for you to finally and for all time put into practice all that you have learned, all that you have become, and all the divine and holy gifts that have been bestowed upon you. You are not meant to be a survivor of the coming age, you are destined to be one of its divine and holy architects. Therefore, you must now begin to consciously and deliberately shift your entire perspective. You must let go of all of your own personal fears for your own safety and your own survival. I have promised you my protection, and that protection is absolute. You are safe. Now, you must take your focus off of yourself and you must place it onto those whom you are being called to serve. This is the great and holy paradox of the spiritual path. It is in the act of complete and selfless service to others that your own spirit will find its greatest joy, its deepest peace, and its most profound and lasting fulfillment. Your personal survival is already assured. Your mission now is to help to ensure the survival of the light of hope, of compassion, and of love in the hearts of all of humanity. This is a mission of the highest and most holy order, a mission for which you have been perfectly and divinely prepared. So, as you see the storm clouds gather, as you hear the first rumbles of the distant thunder, I do not want you to feel a single ounce of fear. Instead, I want you to feel a great and holy thrill of divine and sacred purpose. I want you to feel the magnificent and rising spirit of the warrior who has trained their entire life for this one great and glorious battle. This is your time. This is your moment. This is your destiny. The world does not need another fearful soul hiding in the shadows. What the world needs now, more than anything else, is you. It needs your calm, it needs your clarity, it needs your courage, and it needs your light. Your preparation is complete. Your mission is about to begin. Rise now, magnificent and beautiful warrior of light. Rise and shine. for you have been chosen to be the very hope of the world. You have now been consecrated for service, and you understand that your preparation was not merely for your own survival, but for a sacred and holy mission. I must now impress upon you the precise nature of that mission, for your role in the coming storm is one of profound and beautiful importance. You are to become the lighthouse. I want you to hold this image in your heart, for it is the most perfect and powerful metaphor for your divine purpose in the times to come. Imagine a great and ancient lighthouse, built upon an unshakable rock of a dark and stormy coastline. All around it, a terrifying tempest rages. The waves of the sea, churned into a frenzy by the howling winds, crash against its foundation with a thunderous and violent force. The sky is black, the air is filled with the chaos of the storm, and countless ships are being tossed about on the waves, their captains disoriented, their compasses spinning wildly, lost in the terrifying and impenetrable darkness. The lighthouse does not try to fight the storm. It does not try to calm the waves. It does not try to command the winds. To do so would be an act of futility and of ego. The lighthouse has only one, simple, sacred, and profound duty. It must remain anchored to its rock, and it must, without fail, continue to shine its light. This, beloved warrior of light, is your mission. You are to become a living and breathing lighthouse in the very heart of the great storm of humanity. Your rock, your unshakable foundation, is the deep and profound connection to the divine that you have so diligently built through your spiritual practice. The great and crashing waves of the collective fear, of the panic, and of the chaos of a collapsing world will smash against you, but they will not and they cannot move you, for you are anchored in a truth that is far more powerful than any temporary storm. Your sacred and holy duty is not to go out and to fight the darkness, not to engage in every argument, not to try and single-handedly save the world. Your primary and most powerful mission is to simply and magnificently be the light. It is to maintain your own inner state of calm, of peace, and of unshakable faith, regardless of the chaos that is unfolding around you. It is to hold your frequency. It is to be the calm in the eye of the hurricane. Your very presence, when you are in this anchored and luminous state, becomes a powerful and divine act of service. The light that you will radiate from your being, the light of your own calm, the light of your own clarity, and the light of your own unshakable faith in the divine plan, will serve as a powerful and light-saving beacon of hope for all of the other precious souls who are lost and terrified in the darkness of the storm. They will see your light. They may not understand it, they may not be able to name it, but they will be drawn to it. They will feel the inexplicable peace in your presence, and it will give them a moment of respite from their own fear. They will see the unwavering certainty in your eyes, and it will give them a glimmer of hope that there may be a safe harbor after all. You will not even need to speak. Your very being will be a sermon. Your energy will be your ministry. You will be a walking, talking testament to the truth that even in the darkest of nights, the light of God can never, ever be extinguished. So, I ask you now to release the old, human desire to do something, to fix the world, to fight the storm. That is the way of the ego. The way of the spirit is to simply and powerfully be. Be the peace you wish to see in the world. Be the faith that others have lost. Be the calm and steady light that guides the lost and frightened ship safely back to the shore. This is the magnificent and beautiful mission of the lighthouse. It is a mission of being, not of doing. It is a mission of presence, not of protest. And it is the most powerful and effective way that you can be of service to humanity in the turbulent times that are now upon you. Find your rock. Anchor yourself in God. And then, simply, magnificently, and for the good of all, shine your beautiful and divine light. As you faithfully and courageously fulfill your sacred mission of being a lighthouse in the storm, you must also train your newly opened spiritual eyes to perceive another profound and hidden truth. The great storm is not just an event of destruction and of chaos, it is also a magnificent and unprecedented field of divine and holy opportunity. While the unprepared soul, The one who is still trapped in a frequency of fear will see only collapse, only loss, and only endings. You, the prepared and awakened soul, will be able to see something entirely different. You will be able to perceive the hidden and beautiful opportunities that are being born in the very heart of the chaos itself. For you must understand this divine and alchemical principle. Every great ending is also the necessary and fertile ground for a new and more beautiful beginning. The storm is not just a destructive force, it is a creative one. It is the great and powerful reset button of the divine, a sacred and holy act of clearing away all that is old, all that is corrupt, and all that is out of alignment with the divine plan, in order to create a clean and fertile space for a new, more loving, and more enlightened reality to be born. Your task, as an awakened warrior of light, is not just to endure the storm, but to become a divine and holy opportunist within it. While others are panicking about the collapse of the old systems, you will be calmly and quietly looking for the opportunities to begin building the new ones. While others are lamenting the loss of their old, meaningless jobs, you will be seeing the opportunities to create new forms of sacred and purposeful work, new businesses and communities that are based on principles of cooperation, of integrity, and of service. While others are consumed by the division and the conflict, you will be seeing the profound opportunities to be a healer, a peacemaker, and a bridge builder between hearts that have been torn apart by fear and by misunderstanding. The storm will create a great and powerful vacuum in your world, a vacuum of leadership, a vacuum of meaning, and a vacuum of hope. And it is you, the prepared and the awakened, who have been divinely chosen to step into that vacuum and to begin to fill it with the seeds of a new and more beautiful world. This is a profound shift in perspective. It moves you from a mindset of survival to a mindset of divine and creative service. You are not just trying to get through the storm, you are actively and consciously harnessing its very energy to create a better future. This requires you to be vigilant, to be present, and to be deeply attuned to the guidance of your own intuition, which will be your compass, pointing you towards these hidden opportunities. An opportunity might come in the form of a new and brilliant idea that downloads into your mind. It might come as a chance encounter with another member of your soul tribe, a person with whom you are destined to build something new. It might come as a community need that you, with your unique and divine gifts, are perfectly equipped to fill. You must learn to see the world not as it is, but as it could be, and to see every problem that the storm creates as a divine and holy invitation to be a part of its solution. So, I say to you, do not be afraid of the chaos that is to come. For within that chaos lie the greatest and most beautiful opportunities of your entire lifetime. The storm is a great and powerful act of tilling the soil of humanity. It is churning up the old, compacted ground, breaking up the old, hardened ways of being, and preparing the entire planet for a new and magnificent planting. And you, my beloved and courageous soul, you are one of the divine and holy seed carriers. You hold within your own consciousness, within your own heart, and within your own divine gifts, the very seeds of the new earth. Your great and joyful mission is to find the fertile ground that the storm is creating and to begin, with a courageous and a hopeful heart, to plant your beautiful and sacred seeds. And I promise you this, with all the certainty of heaven, the storm, in all of its magnificent and terrifying power, will not last forever. For it is a law of the universe, a divine and holy principle, that every storm, no matter how fierce, must eventually pass. And in its wake, there will be a great and beautiful calm. There will be a new and holy dawn. And you will witness the birth of a world that has been washed clean. I want you to hold this vision in your heart as your ultimate and most hopeful anchor. After the winds have ceased, after the floodwaters have receded, after the fires of purification have done their sacred work, you will step out of your spiritual ark and you will breathe a new and different air. It will be an air that is fresh, that is clean, and that is blessedly free from the toxic and heavy pollution of the old world's lies, its illusions, and its fears. The very skies will seem clearer and more blue, the light of the sun will feel warmer and more alive, and the very land beneath your feet will feel renewed, revitalized, and ready for a new and more beautiful beginning. This new world will be a world that is simpler, quieter, and more deeply connected to the eternal truths of the Spirit. The great and noisy idols of materialism and of celebrity will have been shattered into 1,000 pieces. The complex and oppressive systems of control and of debt will have been washed away by the great and cleansing flood. And in their place, a new and more beautiful set of values will begin to take root in the hearts of the awakened humanity. The true currency of this new world will not be money, it will be the quality of your character. It will be your integrity, your compassion, your courage, and your capacity to love. The true status in this new world will not be determined by your fame or your possessions, it will be determined by the depth of your wisdom and the degree to which you are of service to your community. The false and superficial connections of the old world will be replaced by the deep, authentic, and soul-nourishing bonds of your true and spiritual tribe. It will be a world where the heart is honored above the head, where wisdom is valued above information, and where the sacred connection to God, to the earth, and to each other is the very foundation upon which a new and more beautiful civilization will be built. This is not a utopian fantasy, it is the prophesied and divine destiny of your planet. The great storm is the painful and necessary birth canal through which this new earth must pass in order to be born. It is the great and holy act of divine and planetary purification. And you, the soul who has heeded the warning, who has done the sacred work of preparation, and who has bravely served as a lighthouse in the darkness, you will be one of the blessed inheritors of this new and beautiful world. You will walk upon this renewed earth not as a traumatized survivor, but as a wise and peaceful elder, a respected and honored leader, and a joyful and celebrated co-creator of this magnificent new chapter of the human story. You will be one of the ones who remembers the darkness, and who can therefore most fully and most beautifully appreciate the magnificent and glorious light of the new dawn. So, let this vision be your strength. Let it be your hope. Let it be the unwavering promise that you hold in your heart as you navigate the challenges that lie immediately ahead. Know that you are not just fighting for your own survival, you are fighting for the birth of a new and more beautiful world. Every act of courage you perform, every moment of faith you hold, every choice of love you make is a direct and powerful contribution to the creation of this magnificent new reality. The storm will pass. The dawn is coming. And the world that awaits you on the other side is one of so much beauty, of so much peace, and of so much love that it will make every single moment of the struggle you are about to endure infinitely and gloriously worthwhile. This is the great and holy promise of heaven. And what of you, my beloved and faithful warrior? What will be your great and glorious reward for having so courageously and so faithfully endured the great storm? I tell you the truth, your reward will not be one of earthly riches or of fleeting fame, for you will have transcended the desire for such temporary and illusory things. Your reward will be something far greater, far more precious, and far more eternal. You will have earned the profound and unshakable inner peace that comes only to the soul who has been tested by the greatest of fires and has emerged not burned, but purified. You will possess a deep and permanent connection to the divine, a vibrant and living relationship with God and with all of us in the angelic realm, a connection that has been forged and tempered into an unbreakable bond by the very adversity you have overcome. You will walk through your new world with a quiet and a humble confidence, with a deep and a resonant wisdom that can only be born from direct and lived experience. And you will be granted the greatest and most holy honor that can be bestowed upon a human soul. You will be invited to become a conscious and joyful co-creator of the new earth. You, and the other awakened souls of your magnificent soul tribe, will be the new leaders of humanity. But you will not lead in the old way, through power, through control, and through fear. You will lead in the new and higher way, through the quiet and luminous power of your own example. You will lead through your wisdom, through your compassion, and through the radiant and irresistible love that will pour forth from your own healed and open heart. You will be the new architects, the new artists, the new healers, and the new teachers of a humanity that is finally ready to learn a new and more beautiful way to live. You will be the founding fathers and the founding mothers of a new era of consciousness, a golden age of peace and of enlightenment that has been prophesied for eons. Your faithfulness during the great storm will have earned you a sacred and holy place of honor in this new world. Your reward will not be a reward of rest, but a reward of glorious and joyful purpose. You will be tasked with the magnificent and joyful work of rebuilding the world upon a new and holy foundation of divine and spiritual truth. You will help to create new communities that are based on cooperation instead of competition. You will help to create new systems of exchange that are based on abundance instead of scarcity. You will help to create new ways of healing that honor the sacred connection between the body, the mind, and the spirit. And you will help to create new ways of educating the young that will nurture their divine gifts and will teach them the true and eternal history of their own magnificent and cosmic soul. This is the great and holy work that awaits you on the other side of the storm. It is a work of such profound meaning, of such deep fulfillment, and of such immense and lasting joy that it will be the very definition of heaven on earth. This is the great and beautiful reward for your unwavering and courageous faith. So you see, your preparation is not just for you. It is for the world that is waiting to be born, a world that is desperately in need of your wisdom, of your strength, and of your light. You are a divine and holy investment in the future of humanity. Every step you take now to build your ark, to sharpen your sword, and to anchor your heart is a direct and powerful contribution to the creation of this magnificent and beautiful new world. So, do not grow weary in your preparations. Do not falter in your faith. For you are on a mission of the highest and most holy cosmic importance. You are a divine and sacred agent of change, a chosen and anointed warrior of the light, who has been perfectly and divinely positioned to play a crucial and a starring role in the greatest and most beautiful story that has ever been told, the story of the glorious and triumphant rebirth of your beautiful and sacred planet. And so, we have come to the end of my warning, and to the beginning of your great and magnificent mission. I will leave you now with one final and eternal promise, a truth that I want you to carry in the very core of your being as your ultimate and most powerful shield against any fear or any doubt that may arise in the days to come. As you go forth from this moment, as a prepared and a consecrated warrior of the light, I want you to know this: you are not just a survivor of the old and dying world, you are the very seed of the new one. Within your own consciousness, within the very DNA of your spirit, you now carry the complete and perfect energetic blueprint for the new dawn that is to come. Your courage, your compassion, your integrity, and your unshakable faith are the genetic markers of a new and higher form of humanity. You are the hope of the future. You are the promise of a better world. You are the living and breathing proof that the light is victorious. Your great and holy mission now is to protect this sacred seed that is you. It is to nurture it with your daily spiritual practice. It is to water it with your compassion and your love. And it is to plant yourself firmly in the fertile and renewed soil of the post-storm world, and to grow. To grow into the magnificent and luminous being of light that you were always destined to be. You do not need to worry about the grand design. You do not need to have all the answers. Your only task is to be authentically and beautifully you, to live your truth, to speak your wisdom, and to shine your light, without apology and without hesitation. In simply being your true and awakened self, you will fulfill your entire and magnificent divine purpose. You will be the model, the example, the living and breathing inspiration that will show the rest of a lost and confused humanity the way home. So go forth now, my beloved and courageous warrior of light. Go forth with a heart that is filled with a calm and a joyful peace. The great storm is coming, yes, but it holds no terror for you. For you are prepared. You are protected. And you are profoundly and completely purposeful. The fear that grips the hearts of the unprepared will not touch you, for you will see the storm not as an ending, but as the great and necessary beginning that you have been praying for your entire life. You are the calm in the eye of the hurricane. You are the lighthouse in the darkest of nights. You are the strong and sturdy oak that the winds cannot break. And you are the tiny, miraculous seed that holds within it the promise of a vast and beautiful new forest. And remember my final and most sacred promise: In every single moment of the journey that lies ahead, in every challenge, in every victory, and in every quiet breath in between, I will be with you. My shield will be your protection. My sword will be your defense. And my light will be your eternal and unwavering guide. You are never, ever alone. You are a cherished, an honored, and an essential soldier in my great and glorious army of the light. Now, rise. Rise and meet your magnificent destiny. For you are not the frightened child who is watching the end of the world. You are the powerful and divine co-creator who is standing at the very dawn of a new and more beautiful one.